Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Police and asks, does he have concerns with the police's handling of the alleged offending in the Roastbusters case, given the release of the report by the Independent Police Conduct Authority today? If so, what are those concerns?
Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
Mr Speaker, yes I do. The IPCA's report on police's handling of the alleged offending by Roastbusters makes for grim reading. The report highlights a failure by police to adequately investigate and a failure to uphold the level of policing that the New Zealand public expect. I've sought and received an assurance that Commissioner Bush is taking this report and its findings very seriously.
Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
Supplementary. Is he concerned that the IPCA found that the child protection team involved in the Roastbusters case did not, quote, properly evaluate all available offences when determining the outcome of their respective investigations, end quote, or that quite simply there were options to prosecute that were not explored, let alone discussed with victims?
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
Well, yes, I am, Mr Speaker, and any decision to prosecute is an operational matter for police to make, but I do note that Operation Clover, the very comprehensive police investigation that was set up in the wake of the Roastbusters revelations, turned over every stone in respect of potential prosecution. They got the best advice from the Solicitor General and the decisions were made on that advice.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
Supplementary to the Minister. Does he consider that the IPCA report directly contradicts the findings of Operation Clover?
Speaker.
Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
Mr Speaker, I don't believe that to be the case.
Supplementary.
Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
Does he agree that there would have been a better outcome for the victims in the case had the child protection teams properly pursued the lines of inquiry, accurately recorded and cross-checked information about the alleged offenders, properly evaluated all available options to prosecute, considered alternative action in dealing with the young men and their families involved, or even just communicated with each other properly, as summarised in the report?
Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
Well, Mr Speaker, it's very difficult to answer that question because it relies on rewinding and replaying events in a different way, but I do accept that a more comprehensive inquiry, and in particular in respect of the IPCA's main criticism that those investigating individual cases did not draw the dots and see the pattern of behaviour, that it may have actually prevented subsequent incidents from taking place. I do accept that. I think that's a fair finding to make, but it's very difficult to say now whether or not there would have been a different outcome in a prosecutorial sense.
Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
What changes will he require of the police to address such a litany of individual failings as those contained in this report?
Mr Speaker.
Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
Well, Mr Speaker, as the member knows, there have been a number of changes already made by police, both in the wake of the Commission of Inquiry, the Baisley report, and in respect of the learnings from the Roastbusters case, including much better information gathering, a higher level of training by police, and more seniority given to the child protection teams in the Waitemata. And I do note that the latest OAG report into progress on the Baisley report notes that police, I quote,
Order.
I quote, the police are focusing more on the needs of people who have reported a sexual assault. Some of the victim support organisations we spoke to observed that police were more empathetic. They felt police showed greater respect for victims and were focusing on what is right for the victim, end quote.
Supplementary question, Sue Moroney.
Given that the Minister himself informed me by way of answers to written questions as early as November last year what the IPCA report confirmed today, that is, that police do not require a complaint in order to lay charges in sexual assault cases, and that consent does not exist to sexual activity if a person is affected by alcohol, what has he subsequently done to ensure that police implement the law, their own policies and procedures in the teenage sexual assault case investigated by today's report?
Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
Again, I preface my answer by reminding the House that decisions to prosecute are made by police, and it's not appropriate for there to be any interference in that decision. But the making of a complaint is one variable in a number of variables that go into a decision to lay a prosecution. And I also note that the outcome of Operation Clover and decisions made there were made on the very best of advice, including from the Solicitor General.
Supplementary question, Sue Moroney.
Will the Minister be the person who actually will stand up for these victims then? Will he now expect police to reconsider laying charges in these teenage sexual assault cases? And if not, what measure will he offer the victims, who the police now admit they failed through the inadequacy of their investigations?
Honourable Michael Woodhouse.
Well, again, that is a matter for police, but I do note that Commissioner Bush in his comments today has encouraged victims, that it has reminded us that there is no time limit on the laying of a complaint of sexual assault, and that it is still possible, and police would welcome any complaint being laid by any existing or other victims, and they would take those complaints extremely seriously.